Good evening. We have a self-appointed Greek expert on YouTube, Brainouty, and she's always throwing out challenges and claiming people can't read Greek. So I thought it'd be interesting to take a look at some of her Greek, and I happened to pick out a one video and a video on John 8:58. This is entitled, I'd like to title down and connect you to it. 3NLXX, the Great YHWH, YHWH, and John 8:58, and Exodus 3:14. And I'm going to deal with the last part of that tape. Just two parts of that tape, so you have to look at the second one. And we're going to deal with this particular word right here, Gignomai from Genestai. That's from Genestai. And this is a middle infinitive, and it's a deponent verb. Now, when you listen to her, when she gets to this point and she hits the word deponent, she tells the listener that they need to Google that. And the fact is that she doesn't want the individual who's listening to understand what a deponent verb is. A deponent verb is one that appears to be it's middle and passive in form, but active in meaning. And in Greek, you have three voices. You have an active voice, the subject is doing the action; a middle voice, the subject is doing the action and receiving the benefits of the action; and a passive voice, where the subject is in fact receiving the action receiving the action. And so this appears to be in the middle or passive voice, and it's in fact an active voice. And you're going to see how she translates. She translates as a passive voice, and that's why she wanted anybody to know it was a deponent, what a deponent was. She told them to Google it, which is a great attitude for someone who's trying to teach people something. Tell them to Google things. So she translates this as a passive, and she translates the phrase here, Preen, Abraham, Genestai, as before Abraham was purposed to exist. Was purposed to exist. Now she makes one mistake. She translates this as a passive when it should be an active, and the other translations line up as an active. Second mistake she makes, she translates this as a purpose, and she says in the beginning, she says, well, it's a infinitive, and most of the time the infinitives are purpose, and that's why she has the word purpose in there. It's actually a temporal clause. The print here shows you that, and it shows a temporal aspect. I'm going to read from Wallace's Grammar, Greek Grammar, on page 594. It's a subsequent. The action of the infinitive of subsequent time occurs after the action of the controlling verb. Its structure is prior to, prin, or prin a. You can find on page 596 plus the infinitive. The construction should be before plus an appropriate finite verb. And so she translates as purpose. Her translation doesn't exist in any translation in existence. It's her own personal translation. And that's why these other translations, and then she goes to the other translations, oh, these are okay. She's judging these other translations when in fact she's wrong both ways. This is a temporal clause, and this is in the active. And when she says she put it in a passive before Abraham was purposed to be, when in fact it's an active, and that's why all these verbs, all these other verses, the translations have it the way they have it. And this is what she has to do. She has to reject. She has to come in and try to show that she's her translation is unique, and that she knows more than all these translators. All these translators. Well, maybe this one's good and this one's close, but she's got the exact translation. She's right. Not according to the Greek. Not according to the Greek. There should be temporal and there should be active. And her translation before Abraham was purposed to exist is nonsense, and that's why no translation has it that way. But this is what's going to happen. You have people who think they're smart enough to translate any translation and aren't disciplined enough to check themselves and wonder why all these guys translated the way they did. These are all an active. Abraham was. Abraham, an active is performing the action or experiencing the action. And that's the case here. And she knew that when she did the deponent, and she was going to put her translation into the passive. That's what she told her listeners to go Google what a deponent is, rather than tell them that a deponent is simply a middle or passive in form and active in meaning. She didn't want anybody to know exactly why she was translating it passive. And this is temporal. That's a temporal aspect here. So before Abraham was, I am, and ego eimi, and that's how it is. And of course, she goes on, ego eimi. If you just knew the ego eimi, that intensity, you know that Greek. Well, try to get the Greek grammar first before you worry about how you feel about the Greek eimi, ego eimi. So that's just the nonsense you're gonna get from Brainouty. No one's checking her. She's just putting this stuff out and hoping people don't check her. That's what she doesn't want anybody to know. She doesn't want to think anybody knows but her Greek. But anybody who knows any basic Greek can understand when she's making her own translations up that she's she's going out of bounds, and there's no basis for that. Her translation of before Abraham was purposed, I am. It's an utter nonsense translation, and then she uses that to judge these other translations. Say, well, these they're close. No, the King James is right, and actually here the ESV, he got it right, and again here, New JB, not ever was, but here's the New King James. They got it right. So they got it right because they could see this was temporal and they could see it was active. And Brainouty fails in her exegesis. But that's what you have when you have these people out there who just think they can put anything out and hope they don't get caught. And that's what Brainouty does. Just puts out stuff and then makes up stuff and then hopes that nobody actually catches them, because who wants to put up with listen to all this nonsense that she puts out. But that's it. That's she's claiming this was she translated this as a passive, even though it's a deponent, and she translated this clause as a purpose clause. She says there's infinitive, and she translated it as a purpose, as opposed to a temporal. So she got two things wrong in one clause. Amen. Thank you.